Good morning, Geometry Honor students. So it's Mr. Chen again. So today I would like to talk about that Chapter 8. So started with that Chapter 8 in Geometry, so the ratios and proportion. So the goal today is that use proportions to solve problems. And the second objective, apply the product and the ratios theorem. So a ratio is a quotient of two numbers, or we can say that's a comparison of two quantity. So the ratio can be written in any of the following way. A fractions, 5 over 3, or it could be written as like a comparison of two numbers, 5 colon 3, or 5 to 3, or 5 divided by 3. So written in the lowest term, as always, the simplest form. And the slope is an example of the ratios of the rise between any 2 points on the line to the run between the points. So here's the warm-up problem that we can start it off. So on the map, the scale is 1.5 inches to 5 miles. So that means 1.5 inches, so that represents 5 miles in the actual size. If the distance measured on the map from one town to another is 10.5 inches, then how many miles is the distance between the towns? So what you need to do here, we can set up the ratios. So once we set up the comparison of the ratios on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, then that would be considered the proportional equation. So 1.5 inches versus 5 miles. So this one's just giving you the standard scale. And then after that, we want to put in that 10.5 inches on the top. And this one's a word problem since we don't know the miles of the actual distance between the towns. So that's why we need to set that as a variable. So x. You can say that x miles. And then all you need to do here, it's all about cross multiplication. So 5 times 10.5 and then 1.5 times x. And for those students who would like to use the integer to multiply, you can always multiply 10 top and the bottom, multiply by 10 top and the bottom for the fractions, or you can just simply multiply this number across. Okay, so 1.5 inches times x. So it's 1.5x. And then 10.5 times 5 again. So just show the word. If you're not quite sure what that is, cannot do it mentally. So 5 times 5, 25. 0 times 5, 0 plus 2. And then 1 times 5. 1 decimal place, bring it down. So it's 52.5. So what we got here is 52.5 equals 1.5x. Divide it. And also another way you can do it, multiply by 10 both sides, so make it as integer, 15x equals 525. So 525 divided by 15. So 3 times 5, 15, 3 times 1, 3, plus 1, 4, 45, subtract, so 7. And then 75, bring it down, so this one, let's see, 5 times 5, 25, 5 times 1, 5, plus 2, 75. So the answer is going to be 35. And 35 miles with the unit. So the actual distance between those two towns, so that would be 35 miles. And the other one, the ratios of the side length of the quadrilateral is 2 to 3 to 5 to 7. And its perimeter, it's 85 feet. So what's the length of the longest side? So the thing is that anytime that we do have the ratio here, it's all about the comparison of the side length, quadrilateral. So this one you can just say that is 2x, 3x, 5x, 7x. So once you combine them all together, you can set it equal to 85. Okay, so two different ways you can do it. You can set up the variable. So 2x plus 3x plus 5x plus 7x. So once you combine them all together, then that'll be 85 feet. So 5x, 5x, 10x plus 7x, so 17x. So that equals 85. And then divided by 17, so 85 divided by 17. So 5 times 7, 35, 5 times 1, 5 plus 3, 85. So x is 5. So the ratio multiplied by 5, so you'll come up with that the side length of each segment of the quadrilateral. So the longest leg, the ratio for that is 7. So 7 times 5, which is 35. So 35 feet. And the other one is quite similar. The ratio of the angles measure of a triangle is 1 to 6 to 13. What's the measure of each angle? So basically just set that 1x plus 6x plus 13x. So set that equal to 180 because the sum of all the angle it's 180. And you want to find out the measure of each angle. So combine them all first because you want to solve for x. So which is 20x equals 180 divided by 20. So you get 9. So that means the first angle is 1 times x, 1 times 9, which is 9 degrees. Second angle, 6 times 9, 54 degrees. And then the third angle, 13 times 9. So 3 times 9, 27. 1 times 9 is 9, plus 2, 117 degrees. Okay? So that's how you get all those elements. A proportion is an equation starting with two ratios, okay, are equal. In the proportion a over b equals c over d, so the value of a and b are the extreme. The value of b and c are the means. So when the proportion is written as a to b equals c to d, the extreme are in the first and the last position. So the means are the two middle position. So here's the example for the proportions. So for a and d, so those are the extreme, 1 and 10. So 2 and 5 would be the mean. Okay, so 5 to 15, 15 to 45. And also this one can be written as 4 over 6, 10 over 15 equals 10 over 15 equals x over y equals 2/3. So this one is called the proportion. So most proportion will contain only two ratio and will be written in one of the following form. So a over b equals c over d, or it could be written in the colon. So a is called the first term, and then b is called the second term. Then c is called the third term, and then d is called the fourth term. You can save that. Okay, so the third term, the fourth term, so the first and the fourth term are called extreme. The second and the third term are called the means. So in the proportion, the product of the mean is equal to the product of the extreme. Well, if you just cross multiply, so a over b equals c over d. So once you cross multiply this, and you'll see that a times d equals b times c. So now let's do some example. So if 3 over x equals 7 over 14, so once we cross multiply, so we got 3 times 14, so you'll get 42. X times 7, 7x, and then divided by 7 to find out the other mean here. So you'll get x equals 6. Find the fourth term of the proportion if the first three terms are 2, 3, and 4. So 2 over 3, so that equals 4 over the fourth term. We don't know what that is, 4 over x. Cross multiply, so 3 times 4, then you get 12. 2 times x, 2x, divided by 2, so we got x equals 6. So the fourth term is 6. So theorem, given that PQ equals RS, then the statements are always true. So P over R equals S over Q, or P over S equals R over Q, and R over P, so that equals Q over S. So if you flip-flop this one here, or just like swapping the number P and S, Q and P and let's see, P and R, Q and S right there, so we can just come up with the same kind of proportion. Because once you multiply, cross multiply, it's pretty much the same thing. So PQ equals RS, PQ equals RS, and also this one, RS equals PQ. So for this one, it's A over C equals E over F, equivalent to F over C equals E over A. Well, check this out, cross multiply, so it's AF equals CE for this one. And then the other one is FA equals CE. So it's basically the same. Because multiplication is always considered commutative, so you can swap the terms. And then 3x equals 4y, find the ratios of x to y. So 3x equals 4y. In order to find the ratios of x to y, so we need to come up with that, the proportions, x over y, the ratio. So the way to do it, we divide it by 3 first. And also at the same time, we can divide it by y. So 3 got cancelled. Y and y got cancelled. So that means x over y equals 4 over 3. So the ratio of x to y would be equal to 4 over 3. So in the mean proportion, the mean are the same. 1, 4 equals 4 over 16. Okay, so once you multiply by 4 top and bottom, you'll end up with that 4 over 16. So a over x equals x over r. So this one is saying that x squared equals a times r. So if the mean is a proportion are equal, either mean it's called the geometric mean, or the mean proportional between the extreme. The geometric mean in the first example above is 4. Okay, so how about the second example? Okay, so the second example, so the geometric mean here. So for the first one, so that would be 4, because you multiply by 4 top and bottom. So this one, if you think about that, just multiply by, in order to get that a to x, I'll just say that x squared, or x equals square root of AR. Okay. And the average of two numbers is another kind of mean between the number, so called arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean is just like finding the average of two numbers. So let's say that we do have x1, x2. In order to find out the average of those two numbers, so basically we just combine them together and then divide it by 2. It's just like the way that we find a midpoint. So y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Or it could be considered z1 plus z2 divided by 2. So let's say if this one is like a 3-dimensional, to find the midpoint, the length, the width, the height. So that's the formula for doing that, using the arithmetic mean. So find the geometric and the arithmetic mean between 3 and 27. So the arithmetic mean, that means just combine those two numbers together and then divide it by 2. So 3 plus 27, then that'll be 30. So 30 divided by 2, so we'll get 15. So geometric mean, that means we need to set up the proportionality. So it's 3 over x equals x over 27. And then from here, cross multiply. So we got x squared equals 3 times 27, which is, again, cannot do it mentally, so just show the work. So 7 times 3, 21, 2 times 3, 6, plus 2, 81. And then take the square root of this number, so which is 9. Geometric mean. So find the mean proportion geometric mean between 4 and 16. So quite similar to what we did. So 4 over x equals x over 16. Cross multiply. 4 times 16 will get 64. X times x will get x squared. So x equals 8. Okay, so now the rest of this is quite similar. So if 4 is the mean proportion between 6 and a number, what's the number? So if 4 is the mean, okay? So that means x over okay, so this one is quite similar. So 4 is the mean proportion between 6 and a number. Okay, so this one 4 is the mean, so let's put 4 like that. Between the number and 6. So let's put it this way. So that means 4 times 4, so we got 16. X times 6, so we do have 6x. Divided by 6 here. So this one is not divisible, so just reduce. So what we got here, it's 1/8. Okay. So the challenging one, so the turtle and the rabbit are in the race to see who is first to reach point 100 feet away. The turtle traveled at a constant speed of 20 feet per minute for the entire 100 feet. Okay, so the rate of change for the entire 100 feet. And the rabbit travels at a constant speed of 40 feet per minute for the first 50 feet and then stop for 3 minutes. Okay. And then continue at a constant speed of 40 feet per minute for the last 50 feet. So determine which animal won the race and by how much time. So the thing is that this one, we do know that distance divided by the rate, then that'll be the time. So let's find out the time that the turtle spent traveling. So this one, so 100 divided by 20. So that takes 5 minutes. So this one's for the turtle. And then for the rabbit, so the rabbit started with 40 feet per minute for the first 50 feet. So 50 divided by 40 to get a time. So we got 5/4. And then it stopped for 3 minutes plus 3. And then continue at the constant speed of 40 feet per minute for the last 50 feet. So 50 divided by 40. So we got 5/4 plus 3 plus 5/4. Okay, so this one, it's 1 and 1/4, 1 and 1/4, so 2 and 2/4 plus 3. So this one, with a rabbit, it takes 5 minutes and 1/2, 5 and 5.5 minutes. So obviously, the turtle is going to win the race. Okay. So again, it's comparison of the time. So here's the summary of what we're talking about today. If the mean, its proportions are equal, either mean it's called a geometric mean or mean proportional between the extreme. The average of two numbers is called the arithmetic mean. Okay, so here's the example for the difference of the arithmetic mean and the geometric mean. And you might be wondering, this one sometimes plus minus because that's a quadratic. Normally, we always want to come up with the mean as positive because that, for the comparison, if that's a side length, so the ratio, it's better to use that, the mean, as a positive instead of using it as negative. Okay? So that's why for the previous one, I put in just the positive for the geometric mean. Okay, so now thank you for watching the video today. So in case you do have any questions, so please just put into the YouTube channel the comment bar, and also please subscribe to the channel, click the ring, and then I'll click the bell ring, and then I'll see you guys next time. Okay, thank you, bye.